Hey, what's up, guys? Listen, if you guys don't know, Diddy was denied bail. However, we did a whole live that was an hour and 36 minutes. We are going to literally condense that and give you everything you need to know and some things that the news media is not covering about the top 10 takeaways you need to know about Diddy and his bail trial. Are you guys ready for this? Let's go. All right, first, let's start from the top. The judge automatically was very interested in the freak offs, and also the U.S. Attorney's Office confirmed that there was, that's right, you guys, blackmail. Okay. They confirmed that the freak offs were recorded. Okay. And they are saying that participants, Diddy, actually blackmailed. Yeah. There's even emails that they presented to the court. Okay. Where multiple victims were accusing Diddy of holding those tapes over their head. Okay. They even went so far in those text messages to say Diddy said he was going to release them. They even read some text that said, "You told me where Diddy was saying, if you don't do A, I'm going to release those tapes." Okay. That's the first takeaway. Also, the issue with security. Diddy basically offered to make his own private prison, his own private Alcatraz into his Miami house and turn it into his own private Alcatraz. He said that he would hire the best security in the business to supervise him 24 hours. Why didn't that stick? Because the judge said, wait a second. In the federal raid, we found AR 15s in your closet, in your personal house. And you told us that it wasn't you, it was security. And now you're saying that same security is going to be the ones watching you by the hog. Yeah, the judge didn't go for that either. Also, the Diddy's lawyer once again was caught flat-footed and made a fool of himself. How so? Remember yesterday after Diddy got denied bail the first time, he said that it was just a jealous argument. They loved each other. It was a toxic relationship. So he said that they were alone in that hotel room and that the reason why Diddy went crazy on her in that video is Cassie grabbed his cell phone, hit him in the head, and stole his clothing and tried to run off because she was jealous that Diddy had another girlfriend. However, in the second request for bail, which once again was denied, he changed the story completely. He then said that disturbing incident that happened March 5th, 2016, there was a third person involved. In the room was a commercial blank worker. A commercial blank worker. Again, it didn't add up. The judge said, but I thought you said before there was only two people in the hotel room. He admitted there was a third. He said it wasn't a big deal. The judge looked at him and said, you understand that having a commercial blank worker in the room and transporting that commercial blank worker over state lines, you understand that that is distracting, that this is the classic definition of what he's being accused of. So that didn't go well either. Again, this whole bail hearing was going horribly, but it's very odd to me that Diddy's attorney was changing his story mid everything. It was an issue. If you want something more drawn out with all the juicy details, I did do a live about it. I'll link it at the end of the video. Go ahead and check it out. Okay, what else? Obstruction and witness intimidation. There was a recurring theme that the government kept trying to push that Diddy was obstructing justice. The prosecution mentions that he contacted one key witness over 14 times without their consent, even after grand jury subpoena, and gaslit one of them in a phone call, trying to convince her that the mutual acts that she was involved with were consensual. This demonstrates a pattern of trying to manipulate victims and witnesses. That's what the prosecution was going with. That's what the judge seemed to believe. There were brutal descriptions, okay? There were brutal descriptions, and also showed that as much as his lawyer wants to act like it's just a party and we love it, even back then, people were complaining that he was vile, he was brutal, and he was inflicting serious damage. They showed some text of a victim that they're saying is not Cassie, When I get effed up, when you get effed up, that's when Diddy gets effed up off the Tucci, allegedly. You knock me around. I am not a rag doll. I'm someone's child. That painted a disturbing picture of the alleged physical abusee with heads. The prosecution also said they approved that heads were being slammed against car windows and other acts of violence that couldn't possibly be consensual. They also got into that $50 million bond proposal. Okay. Diddy's attorney made this weird play about, listen, Your Honor, even if you don't believe him, believe the money. Yeah, that was the thing. Even if you don't trust in him, trust the money. It's 50 million big ones. The judge was not impressed. It was actually particularly bizarre that he would even say that. Listen, Diddy offered to have his residence monitored 24/7 by law enforcement. We'll talk about that in a second. They said he would stay off the internet entirely with constant surveillance, showing how desperate they are to keep him out of jail. But the judge wasn't convinced, of referencing a troubling video that shows violent behavior. Of course, that was Cassie in the hallway. The discovery package included freckle supplies and a number of electronic devices. It sounds like a treasure trove of evidence. They said they have already decoded 35 of the over 100 electronic devices that they actually seized in the raid, and they are ready to share it with the defense. That happens in discovery. Defense was really, really salty, and they were like, I don't know, I have to check with my client, even though his client was sitting right there. Interestingly enough, Diddy was sitting there in a black shirt. They didn't make him come in the prison uniform. It seems like once he got from the prison, and they let him change into regular clothes and sit in front of the judge. Okay, what else is there? The prosecution confirmed that the freak-offs were fueled by rugs. They said these freak-offs have been happening they were organized by Diddy and his entourage, stretched from 2009 to this year. They're saying that the recorded freak-offs were used for allegedly blackmail. One particularly scandalous email said, "You're going to make me blank, okay? Or you're going to leak some some freak off ish." Again, they were raging at Diddy that Diddy had basically said, "If you don't do what I say, I'm going to release these tapes." Another victim revealed that Diddy threatened to expose her using the blank tape. The shocking detail: Diddy and her admit that she was rugged at the time of the recording. The use of these tapes to control or intimidate participants added a very sinister layer during this whole bail appeal hearing. Um, ah, Diddy's head of security has been subpoenaed. One of the most shocking developments was the revelation that the head of security was, in fact, subpoenaed by the FBI. It looks like they're going to be indicted as a co-conspirator. The individual who was supposed to provide security for Diddy is now implicated in the offensive conduct. The idea that his inner circle, including security personnel, could have been involved or aware of illegal activities and even helped. Yeah, it made major red flags. It also showed that when Diddy said he was going to be monitored by his own security, it didn't hold much weight. What else? Text. Oh, shocking one. There were text messages Diddy wrote after the assault, proving that Cassie did not want it, was not down with it, and wasn't going to take it anymore. Apparently, when Cassie was able to get out of the hotel, the Popo were in fact called. How do we know? Diddy's own text messages that the prosecution showed saying, "Call me. The cops are here. I got 6 kids. Yo, please, I'm surrounded. You're going to abandon me all alone?" This frantic response obviously shows Diddy was clearly worried about police involvement and immediately tried to manipulate the victim into helping him get out of the situation. Again, obstruction of justice. He has been harassing lots and lots and lots of witnesses that were subpoenaed. Da 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 da. Yeah. Now here's this. He has a proposal. he was going to hire Sage Intelligence. They are very pricey and very good at what they do. They proposed that Sage Intelligence, made up of former law enforcement personnel, would monitor Diddy's residence 24/7. They offered to have one or two employees present at all times, with shifts to ensure constant surveillance. They promised to implement a visitor log. They offered to create a visitor log with a pre-approved list of individuals who could visit the defendant. This list would be shared with the court, okay, ensuring that no unauthorized persons would access the defendant, i.e., Diddy. He promised no cell phone or internet access to prevent witness intimidation or any communication with the outside world. And the defense promised that Diddy would have no access to cell phone or internet. This is aimed at nullifying any further risk of obstruction. Promised to install 24/7 cameras. They were willing to install cameras filming 24 hours a day inside the residence. This is part of their plan to make sure the court would have peace of mind that Diddy wasn't going to violate any positions. Now, the funny thing is, Diddy already has cameras all over his place from every angle. Little Rod confirmed that, which, by the way, I did an amazing live with Little Rod. He gave up so much information that is now being confirmed as to be true in all these hearings, but we'll get to that later. Listen, Diddy's still desperate to sell his private jet. All the passports are taken. It doesn't matter. Right now, it looks like Diddy's assets, he cannot sell anything. And it looks like they're about to freeze whatever assets, but he definitely can't sell any tangible assets right now or risk forfeiture. Also, getting back to that security, again, Diddy was offering to make his own private prison, his own private Alcatraz. The only thing is, nobody trusts Diddy. How do they know? They even said, this goes even crazier, right? Diddy offered to literally have the security work round the clock shifts, round the clock strips. Round the round the clock shifts along with constant monitoring. Again, at the end of the day, Diddy did everything he could. His lawyer even said to close it out that he used to be an altar boy. He's a good man, Savannah, and you should give him another chance. And if you don't believe, trust him, trust the money. I can't believe a lawyer said that to a court of law. Anyway, you guys, a couple of questions remain. Who else is involved? I think the feds know, and I think they know too, and we're gonna know shortly. The celebrities that were at the parties, I mean, those parties, we're gonna know. And how deep does this go? Again, the rabbit hole goes further. Listen, you guys, that was a brief summary. If you want the full funny details that will really shock you, go ahead and watch the live. It's linked in the description box and at the end of this video. But I hope that you enjoyed this little tidbit. Diddy offered everything he could, and at the end of the day, it just was not enough. That mofo is done. Anyway, also, really quick, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.